Not all councils of gods sit in the sky. Some gather under sacred trees, beside rivers that remember creation, and within temples whose stones hold the breath of ancestral voices. In the heart of West Africa, in a city called Ile-Ife, the Yoruba people speak of such a council, a divine assembly not bound by myth alone, but rooted in ritual, rhythm, and revelation. Ile-Ife is no ordinary place. To the Yoruba, it is the navel of the world, the axis where heaven once touched earth, and where the first humans were shaped by divine hands. It is here that the Orisha descended, bringing not only the elements of life, but the sacred order that would govern it. Yoruba Orisha Pantheon is not a random collection of gods. It is a carefully balanced network of spiritual forces, each Orisha with a specific domain, personality, and energy. They are more than deities. They are archetypes of the human experience, expressions of nature, and custodians of morality and destiny. The Orisha embody fire and water, war and healing, wisdom and power. They are both cosmic principles and personal guides. Some speak through thunder, others whisper in divination. All act as intermediaries between humanity and the ultimate creator, Olodumare, the unseen source of all existence. But the Orisha do not rule like monarchs. They do not sit atop thrones demanding blind worship. Instead, they form a divine council, a spiritual collective where balance is more important than hierarchy. Masculine and feminine, gentle and fierce, ancient and youthful. All are represented, reflecting the diverse energies needed to sustain life and guide human behavior. They are teachers, protectors, challengers, and mirrors. Through stories, rituals, music, and festivals, the Yoruba people stay in communion with these divine beings, not out of fear, but through love, respect, and shared destiny. This video journeys through the sacred house of the Orisha, introducing the Divine Council of Ile-Ife and the spiritual logic behind each god's role. We'll uncover how this pantheon reflects a deeper understanding of the world, one rooted in harmony, justice, creativity, and spiritual alignment. These are not relics of the past. The Orisha are still invoked in prayers, danced in ceremonies, and remembered in the beating of drums that echo the heartbeat of the divine. The council awaits. Let us step inside. At the pinnacle of the Yoruba spiritual hierarchy is Olodumare, the supreme being, the infinite source from which all existence flows. Unlike many creator gods and world religions who dwell among mortals or interfere directly in daily affairs, Olodumare is distant yet ever-present, not in detachment, but in sacred transcendence. Olodumare does not walk among humans, nor is he represented by an image or idol. He is beyond form, beyond time, and beyond comprehension, yet his essence permeates everything. He is the spark behind the sun, the stillness before the storm, and the breath within breath. In the Yoruba cosmology, Olodumare is not simply a creator, but the eternal source of all spiritual energy, the one who speaks without voice and moves without motion. Central to Olodumare's role is the concept of Ase, the divine life force, the sacred command that makes things happen. Ase is not merely energy, it is the spiritual authority that causes the world to function. It empowers the Orisha, the deities and forces of nature, to act in accordance with divine will. Without Ase, there is no creation, no transformation, no ritual, no speech. When an elder blesses a child, when a priest offers libation, when a drum calls the spirits, it is Ase that carries the power forward. Olodumare alone holds the wellspring of Ase and bestows it upon the Orisha to govern specific domains of human life and the natural world. Through the Orisha, Olodumare maintains cosmic order. The rains fall not by accident, but through the work of Orisha like Imoja and Oya. Justice is not random but guided by the thunderous voice of Shango. Creation, war, wisdom, love, and even death are orchestrated through the hands of divine emissaries who each carry a portion of Olodumare's Ase. Yet, Olodumare remains above the fray, not removed in apathy, but elevated in sovereignty. He is the source of destiny, known in Yoruba as Ayanmo. Every soul, before descending into the world, chooses a destiny in the presence of Olodumare. This choice defines the soul's path, purpose, and the challenges it must face. Though the Orisha can assist, and divination through Ifa can reveal, only Olodumare knows the full map of a person's spiritual journey. Olodumare does not need temples or sacrifices. His name is invoked in awe, in final prayers, and in sacred silence. He is the unseen architect whose design lives in the wind, the ocean, and the human heart. Through his ace, the Orisha guide the world, but it is Olodumare who gives them voice. Among the revered Orisha who carry out the will of Olodumare, none is more closely associated with the act of creation itself than Obatala. Known as the sculptor of human beings, Obatala was entrusted by Olodumare with the sacred task of shaping humanity. With careful hands, he molded bodies from the white clay of the earth, crafting each figure with intention and grace. His role was not just technical, it was spiritual. He formed the vessels into which the divine breath would later be poured, preparing the ground for life to awaken. In Yoruba belief, Obatala's act of creation marked the moment when divine thought took physical shape, when spirit was given form. Yet, even the purest among the Orisha is not without flaw. In one of the most poignant stories of the Yoruba Pantheon, Obatala, while preparing to shape new beings, consumed palm wine, either out of fatigue, distraction, or curiosity. Under its intoxicating influence, his normally steady hands faltered, and the figures he created were not all symmetrical or whole. Some had curved spines, some lacked limbs, some were born into the world with visible differences. When the effects wore off and Obatala realized what he had done, he was overcome with sorrow. But Olodumare, in infinite wisdom and compassion, breathed life into the flawed forms just as he had into the perfect ones, declaring that all creation was sacred. Deeply remorseful, Obatala vowed never to drink again and took upon himself the eternal role as protector and patron of people with disabilities. In doing so, he did not merely atone, he elevated those he had unintentionally marked, making their existence a testament to divine complexity and spiritual worth. Obatala became not only the god of creation, but of clarity, wisdom, and purity. His color is white, not just for its light, but for its ability to reflect all colors, representing inclusivity, peace, and unclouded thought. His devotees wear white during rituals, abstain from alcohol, and strive to embody the virtues he represents: gentleness, patience, and the sacred dignity of all beings. He reminds the world that perfection is not the absence of flaw, but the presence of purpose. Through his myth, the Yoruba teach that humanity is not divine because it is flawless, but because it was created with care, and even in error, embraced by love. Orunmila stands among the Orisha not as a warrior or a builder, but as the keeper of wisdom, the silent observer of time, and the divine archivist of fate. He is the embodiment of divine intelligence, the one who was present when Olodumare laid out the blueprint of the universe. In Yoruba cosmology, Orunmila is more than a god. He is the living manifestation of destiny and cosmic truth. It is said that before a soul is born into the world, it stands before Olodumare and chooses its destiny. Orunmila is the witness to that sacred choice, and through him, that path can later be remembered. To aid humanity in navigating the complexities of earthly life, Orunmila gifted the world the sacred system of Ifa divination, a vast body of knowledge encoded in oral verses known as Odu Ifa. These verses are not simply predictions or vague spiritual advice. They are profound philosophical teachings that guide behavior, explain causes of misfortune, and realign individuals with their destined path. The practitioners of Ifa, known as Babalawo, fathers of secrets, consult Orunmila through ritual, casting palm nuts or cowries to interpret which Odu speaks for a person's condition. Through this, Orunmila communicates with the seeker, not to change their fate, but to clarify it. Unlike other Orisha who rule over elements, seasons, or emotions, Orunmila's domain is the invisible web of destiny, the unseen threads that bind choices, events, and outcomes. He knows the beginning and the end of all things, and yet he remains silent unless called upon with reverence. His guidance is not loud or dramatic. It is precise, thoughtful, and unwavering. Through Orunmila, the Yoruba maintain a worldview where knowledge is sacred, where ignorance is not just a weakness, but a spiritual misalignment, and where enlightenment begins with self-awareness and humility. As an intermediary between humans and Olodumare, Orunmila serves a role no other Orisha can claim. While Olodumare is the source, Orunmila is the translator, the wise elder who deciphers divine will into human language. He is a bridge, not only between heaven and earth, but between confusion and clarity, between suffering and solution. In a world filled with uncertainty, Orunmila offers not certainty, but understanding, and through that understanding, peace. To know Orunmila is to walk with foresight. To honor him is to honor truth. Among the Orisha, Ogun is the first to blaze the trail, the one who breaks through barriers with fire and will. He is the Orisha of iron, war, and innovation, the divine force behind every tool that shapes the world and every path that demands courage to tread. When the Orisha prepared to descend from the heavens to populate the earth, it was Ogun who led the way. The others hesitated, blocked by the dense thickets and uncharted terrain between Orun and Ile, between the spiritual and the physical realms. But Ogun, with his iron machete, cleared a path through the wilderness, carving a bridge that would connect gods and humans forever. That act did not just mark him as a warrior, it marked him as a pioneer, a divine engineer who brings movement where there is stagnation and progress where there is resistance. Ogun is the heartbeat of transformation. Every blacksmith's hammer strike, every farmer's hoe digging into the soil, every weapon forged in defense or battle is an echo of his presence. His element, iron, is not merely a metal, it is a spiritual conduit. In Yoruba tradition, no ritual begins without first honoring Ogun. For every knife, blade, or implement used to open space or prepare sacrifices must pass through his essence. He is the Orisha who makes manifestation possible, cutting through lies, opening roads, forging tools of survival. As such, Ogun is not only associated with war in the military sense, but with the broader struggle for justice and truth. Ogun's energy is direct, fearless, and raw. He is the force behind revolutions, the spirit in the forge, and the spark in every act of innovation. In a modern context, Ogun's influence extends to technology, industry, and invention. Whether it's a software code breaking barriers or a satellite launched into orbit, the spirit of Ogun is at work, transforming ideas into reality with strength and precision. He is also invoked in legal matters and social movements, as the patron of righteous warfare, defending the oppressed and cutting down the corrupt. Yet for all his fire, Ogun is deeply ethical. He abhors cowardice and deceit. His justice is swift but fair. To align with Ogun is to commit to integrity, bravery, and purposeful action. He reminds us that creation often requires destruction, but only in service of what must be built anew. He is the machete and the path it creates, the fire and the forge, the warrior and the craftsman. Through Ogun, the Yoruba teach that progress is divine when guided by justice, and that to honor him is to fearlessly clear the way forward with heart, hand, and unwavering truth. Yemoja, the great mother of the Yoruba Pantheon, flows through the cosmos with the gentleness of a river and the depth of the ocean. She is the Orisha of water, motherhood, and fertility, the divine embodiment of nurturing and emotional wisdom. Her name means mother whose children are like fish, evoking both her dominion over rivers and seas and the boundless nature of her love, fluid, encompassing, and ever-present. Yemoja is not merely a river goddess. She is the primordial womb, the spiritual current from which life itself emerges. Just as every living thing is born in water, so too is every soul said to pass through Yemoja's embrace before entering the world. To the Yoruba and those in the African diaspora, Yemoja represents the essence of maternal care. She heals the wounded spirit, mends the broken heart, and cradles the souls of children, mothers, and all who are vulnerable. Her presence is invoked in times of grief, childbirth, sickness, and uncertainty. Through the medium of water, rivers, streams, oceans, and even tears, Yemoja speaks. She teaches that emotion is not weakness, but a sacred language of the soul. Her rituals often involve washing with sacred water, offering seashells, and dancing in a way that mimics the rolling tide. These acts are more than symbolic. They are portals to healing, restoration, and ancestral connection. Yemoja is also a fierce protector of women and children. She defends the sacredness of motherhood and the sanctity of life. In her stories, she often stands against injustice, protecting those who cannot defend themselves. Many women seek her blessings in matters of fertility, childbirth, and domestic peace. She is not passive. She is a powerful presence, a shield that guards and a wave that crashes when provoked. Her love is deep, But her anger, like the ocean, is vast and unstoppable when stirred by betrayal or harm to her children. As the mother of several other Orisha, including Shango, Ogun, and Oya, Yemoja holds a central place in the Yoruba Divine Council. Through her, the pantheon is linked by blood, water, and emotion. She is the intergenerational thread, the memory of the ancestors carried in the flowing rivers, and the future nurtured in every womb. Yemoja teaches that strength can be soft, that healing can be fierce, and that motherhood is both a gift and a cosmic responsibility. To honor her is to honor life itself in all its fluid, sacred complexity. Shango blazes into the Yoruba pantheon like a storm in full roar, fiery, regal, and impossible to ignore. He is the Orisha of thunder, lightning, and fire, a god whose very presence electrifies the sky and ignites the spirit. As a former mortal king who ascended into divine status, Shango's story is woven with tales of battle, leadership, passion, and ultimate transformation. He is not only a force of nature, but a symbol of charismatic authority, commanding attention through his voice, his drum, and the thunder that follows in his wake. When the heavens rumble and lightning splits the sky, it is said that Shango is speaking, asserting divine will, correcting imbalance, and reminding the world that power must be carried with honor. Shango is revered not just for his might, but for his sense of justice. He is a warrior king, the ideal ruler who upholds law, punishes wrongdoers, and restores cosmic and social order through decisive action. His rulership in Oyo, one of the great Yoruba kingdoms, was marked by military strength and vibrant culture. Though stories differ, some say his pride led to downfall, others say he sacrificed himself for the good of his people. All agree that his legacy lives on in the thunder's crack and the fire's roar. In spiritual practice, Shango is often invoked when justice is needed, when courage must rise, or when tyranny must fall. Yet Shango is not solely a warrior, he is also the patron of music, drumming, and performance, the embodiment of rhythm and spectacle. His favorite instrument, the bata drum, is more than music. It is a sacred language used to communicate with the divine. Every beat tells a story, calls a spirit, or marks a cosmic truth. In ceremonies, Shango's worshippers dance with explosive energy, mimicking the fire and rhythm he embodies. Their movements are not just for show, they are invocations, divine reenactments of his battles, judgments, and triumphs. Shango's symbols, fire, the double axe, red and white cloth, represent the duality of strength and vulnerability, passion and control. He is a god who demands excellence, who rewards bravery, and who brings divine fire to cleanse, enlighten, lighten, and empower. To walk with Shango is to stand tall, speak boldly, and live with fiery purpose. In a world that often confuses noise with truth, Shango reminds us that real power lies not just in thunder, but in the justice it delivers and the legacy it leaves. The Yoruba Orisha do not rule from above like a distant monarchy, nor do they function in strict rank as in a military chain of command. Instead, they exist as a divine council, a harmonious assembly where each Orisha contributes unique power, wisdom, and energy to the maintenance of the universe. This council does not rely on superiority, but on balance, a sacred understanding that no single force can govern all of existence. Fire needs water. War must be tempered by peace. Destiny is revealed through choice. Male and female, elder and youth, fierce and gentle, all are present, all are honored. In this divine network, Obatala's calm must walk beside Shango's fire, Ogun's blade must follow Orunmila's insight, and Yemoja's compassion must complement Oya's storm. The Orisha do not compete, they co-govern, reflecting a world where diversity is divine strategy, not chaos. This structure mirrors the values of Yoruba society itself, where leadership is distributed, councils of elders advise kings, and community decisions require consensus. It is a deeply egalitarian spiritual system, where each person, like each Orisha, has a purpose and a role. Human beings are not separate from this divine council. Through birth, naming, initiation, and divination, individuals are spiritually aligned with an Orisha, who becomes their personal guide and protector. This bond is not ownership, but partnership, a lifelong relationship meant to cultivate destiny and uphold cosmic order. To maintain harmony among the Orisha and between the spiritual and material realms, the Yoruba conduct rituals and festivals throughout the year. These are not mere celebrations, but spiritual recalibrations, moments when the community communes with the divine through song, dance, sacrifice, and prayer. Each Orisha has a sacred day, a specific rhythm, a preferred offering, and a community of devotees who keep their story alive. In Nigeria, Brazil, Cuba, and across the diaspora, drums still beat in Shango's name. Rivers are still honored for Yemoja, and white cloth is still worn to call upon Obatala. These rituals are living diplomacy, acts of respect and alignment that keep the Divine Council in unity. In a world increasingly divided by hierarchy and domination, the Yoruba Pantheon offers a different vision. That power is strongest when shared, that truth is many-voiced, and that harmony is achieved not through uniformity, but through divine diversity, working together as one. The Yoruba Orisha are not relics of an ancient world. They are living symbols of wisdom, power, and balance that continue to guide lives today. In an era where identity is often fragmented and justice feels elusive, the Orisha offer a map back to wholeness. They remind us that strength must be paired with compassion, that destiny begins with intention, and that the divine exists not above us, but among us, in our rivers, our breath, our creativity, and our courage. To remember the Orisha is to remember ourselves, multifaceted, interconnected, and divinely inspired. As you carry these stories with you, may your path be lit with clarity like Obatala, protected by Ogun's iron, and guided by Orunmila's wisdom. May the waters of Yemoja wash your fears away, and may Shango's fire ignite your voice for truth. I pray in the name of the Most High Creator that your soul is aligned with purpose, that your steps are ordered by light, and that your spirit remains rooted in ancestral truth. If this story stirred something ancient in you, let it echo further. Don't just let the rhythm of your engagement ripple through the digital realm. Comment with reverence, subscribe with intention. Share this message like a prayer, so the council may never be forgotten. This is not a video, it's a ritual. You are part of it now. Carry it forward. Let the drums never stop.